Skirt Strategies. It's another tip for you ladies in leadership.
And this month's tip is well-being, positive psychology, and mental toughness.
Here at Skirt Strategies, we're dedicated to giving you women in the workplace some real specific skills and mindset for being a better woman leader. All right, so positive psychology is a big term nowadays.
It is, and it's not just a big term, but, and I think I've said this before, but I think it's very interesting that positive psychology is something we have not been studying for a long time. We've always studied the negative in psychology, and now
What's
all of a
wrong
sudden,
with people?
what's wrong with people? And now we've started studying what's right with people. And that's where positive psychology comes from.
Here's a definition of positive psychology. It's primarily concerned with using the psychological theory, research, and intervention techniques to understand the positive, adaptive, creative, and emotionally fulfilling aspects of human behavior. I should have a PhD.
You should, because you can read.
Sounds pretty.
Did you make that up, or?
No, it came from my husband, who is a PhD in psychology.
Oh, well, there you go.
But it's becoming so mainstream in the business world now, for good reason. For good reason. And in fact, I do some training, and I've done a little bit around well-being in the workplace and wellness in the workplace, more likely, and how positive psychology is adding to it.
Plays into that, yeah.
Well, there's benefits. You get fewer people are gone for your sick days. You get people that are more creative. You get less conflict. You get less burnout. You get people not quitting as often.
So it's
all
all
these
good.
benefits.
It's all good.
Why wouldn't you want to do it? But how does it apply to you?
Well, how does it apply to
I'm
you?
going to ask you a question first.
Okay.
What comes first, success or happiness?
Oh, goodness. We all strive for success so that we can be happy, right?
Yes. Isn't
Yes.
that what you're told as you're growing
That's
up?
right. But that's not true.
I want you to be successful so that you'll be happy.
That's right. And because we're always striving for that next goal, we invite unhappiness, don't we?
Well, what ends up happening is we focus too much on the success. We don't take care of ourselves, and we become unhappy. A lot of research has showed us that the most successful people were happy first, and that's what led them to success. So those of you out there are like, I want to be successful, I want to hit the big time, or I want to do whatever it is you want to do in your own little world to be successful, focus first on the positive psychology and the happiness. That's what this month's video tip is going to be to help you with. First of all, understand what it means. That's tip number one. Understand what positive psychology means to you. It means the well-being. It means the happiness posture.
Right. So you can create this well-being, and through positive psychology, through the things that they've studied in other people, having an open mind, broad-mindedness brings in happiness.
Which is our second tip. Thanks for the transition.
Oh, right.
Broadening?
Yes. Yeah. Open-mindedness brings in some happiness, and therefore you are successful.
It actually goes to a physical mindset in your brain. I sound like a neuroscience, but I'm not.
That's right. But you're sleeping with one, so.
Well, I don't know if he's a neuroscientist, but he's a psychologist. Broadening is a term that's used for having an open mind, and at the physiological, at the microcosmic level, I'll call it the microcosmic level.
Macro.
It is your neuronal network, your neurons, actually being receptive and working better. Which, think about what's happening in those little paths of your brain. An area where we don't know a lot about is our brain. What we do know, because we're learning so much even just now in modern day times, the way our brains work as leaders. When you're more open-minded, you're more likely to be able to solve complex problems. You can think more creatively. You can take complex problems and be able to bring them down to a level where you can work on them.
A creative level.
That's yes.
Yeah.
One thing I say about that's called the broadening effect. One way for me to understand best what the broadening effect is to talk about what the opposite is.
Okay.
Which is closed-mindedness.
Oh, sure.
When you're closed-minded, and people that are chronically closed-minded, they never opt in for a creative
solution or anything. Yeah.
At their brain level, they are actually closing the pathways to being open to think about things. So I think that makes sense. So the
Yeah.
broadening effect, if you were to walk away and say, what is one thing I want to do about positive psychology? That would be one area that could lead you to more happiness and more well-being, is you have this open-mindedness around what possibilities are. And then the third tip that we're going to leave everybody with is very tactical, your happiness habits.
What are they?
What do you do for happiness? You might say, well, what are some happiness habits? You have a great one that you do regularly, and you're very good at it.
My husband and I actually have read many of the books that on positive psychology, and one of the things we do is gratitudes every night. We each have at least 3 gratitudes that we say out loud to each other, and it's made our lives happier. Just by being grateful for the things that are in your life.
When you acknowledge outwardly, you're more likely to embrace it and know that you're living in it. Because in our civilization, we tend to focus on crap that's gone wrong.
Oh, the negative.
And
The other happiness habit that we have is we do not watch the news.
Oh my gosh!
Talk about negativity. There is nothing good on the news, and that's they may have one happy story, but it's buried.
Yeah.
Amongst the negativity, and we just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, national news is a little bit easier to listen to, but the local business news, if it's a business newspaper, that tends to be
I'll read some stuff, but
But if it's
I'm
the crime
very
journal,
picky about what I read, and I will not watch TV news.
So happiness habits could be spending time with your kids or your family, or whatever family you have that you love spending time, being around children,
Friends.
listening to music, getting exercise, knowing how to breathe, knowing how to walk away from a stressful situation, or even a regular mundane situation, knowing how to get up, walk away, come back in 30 minutes. What are some of the things that you do that take care of self? Those are happiness habits.
Good.
And so just thinking in a positive way, like Girl Scout cookies or something.
Girl Scout cookies.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
So
Chocolate.
that's our tip this month on the Hot Flash video for Women in Leadership. We do encourage any of you, if you would like to be more regular followers, we do have monthly subscribers that for a cheap $8 a month, they get held accountable. They get a Monday morning detox, we call it, and it's a regular small assignment because we're all about tiny trainings and big results. So if you want to get one of those little tiny trainings in your inbox every Monday for just cheap $8 a month, we're pleased to do that. We focus on a different topic each month. Go to skirtstrategies.com/membership if you'd like to know more. Thanks for being with us.